First of all, this is not a Republican or Democrat issue, okay? This is a female issue. Nothing bothers me more than when women say derogatory things about women, but all women should be offended, absolutely offended, because it's inappropriate. It's not appropriate in the boardroom. It's not appropriate as a comedian. It is not appropriate, period.
It's never appropriate.
And it should be stopped.
This is the most vile. C word, T word. I mean, you go through the list here that we're talking about. Talking about kids. Now, Maher also went after Senator Santorum's kids. He's gone after Governor Palin's kids. You know, I don't know any conservatives that would ever go after the president's kids. And if they did, I'd be the first to criticize them.
No, and there's a total,
leave these kids alone. And yet, what does it say about President Obama? He keeps the $1 million in his PAC, doesn't say to get rid of it, won't criticize Maher. And then the same thing, the First Lady goes...
Calls Sandra Fluck,
calls Sandra Fluck. And then the First Lady goes on Letterman.
Yeah, I don't think it's really becoming for the First Lady to go on Letterman. What is the point and purpose? Is that supposed to be a real news interview? And you shouldn't go on a program that has regularly demeaned women. I know that he apologized for it later.
Especially her.
Exactly.
I was on a panel speaking with her about women's rights and about women. To turn around and now endorse something like that, I mean, I will tell you that it doesn't matter whether it's derogatory against women or a certain group, that when I hear it, I stop people in their track and I say, you know what? You've hit a boundary with me. That is inappropriate, and that's not going to happen here.
Look, if it wasn't through this prism that we're seeing of the president lecturing the country repeatedly, I don't want my daughters attacked or called these horrible names.
And he wouldn't want his daughter's decisions taken away from him. He would be the first one to say, don't you dare tell my daughters what to do. Don't you dare take her rights away from her. You don't know what's going to happen to those girls. And he would be the first one to say she has a right to a choice, because the rules would be different then.
Sean, it's a credibility issue, isn't it? Because he's really, it sounds like he's talking out of both sides of his mouth. And that's not presidential, and that's not
That's why it's an issue. You know, it's funny.
A responsible man who, you know,
because all these left-wingers, you know, they don't understand the argument here, and let me spell it out for you. If you're giving $1 million to Obama, and Obama's lecturing the country on civility and calling Sandra Fluck and telling everybody we can't have these attacks, then you've got your standard has to be for everybody, and that means conservative women. And he's never stuck up for conservative women. If he did, he'd give the $1 million back.
That would be leadership.
And it's no different than in business, okay? In business, sometimes you got to make really hard choices. There are many accounts that I do not do business with because it is not part of my moral compass and part of my company's mission statement. So in order to protect my employees, we don't take certain business.
Here's what was on the Politico today. Schumer schemes to hit GOP. The real push behind the Democrats' effort is to find reasons to portray Republicans as anti-women, anti-Latino, anti-middle class. So what does that tell you about where this election is headed?
Well, it's desperate. You know, they're desperate for those votes, and they've seen now continuing decline in President Obama's numbers
41.
with these groups, and it's a huge problem for them because this is a group that they steadfastly counted on in the last election, and they need them going forward.
Isn't it deeper than that too, though, Kimberly? And I think your point's dead on.
Yeah.
But it's also that they have a 41% approval rating, and they can't run on their record.
Right.
So now they're willing to go. It's seemingly they're televising, they're voicing their strategy. They're going to go scorched earth, and they're willing to divide the country so that the president can hang on to his airplane and his helicopter and that nice house he lives in.
You want to talk about the epitome of condescending? Do you really think women are that dumb that I'm going to watch a video and that's going to be how I'm going to make my decisions? You don't think that women read? Women are educated. Women are making decisions. I will dive down deep into the details, and I will tell you, just walking around, if you met a woman today, she is on her game.
Well,
she knows.
Yeah, well, those commercials, that's very offensive because it really is. You know, Amylia's right. It's just dumbing down the whole process. Like we're just robots and we're going to listen to what MoveOn.org has to say about anything. I mean, it was so amateurish, but it's offensive, you know?
What's that?
You tell them, sister. Absolutely.
They're demonizing the Republican Party.
No, I agree
the Republican Party respects and loves women.
And women have to stand up for women.
And by the way, should health care companies or the government pay for women's contraception or men's contraception?
No, it's not.
Or the Catholic Church. Or the Catholic Church.
What?
None of your business.
That's what I said.
None of your business.